Hello everyone and welcome to game 3 in this series, Titan versus Hyun here on Cloud Kingdom. Titan spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the green Protoss, meanwhile Hyun spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map as the red Zerg. Zerg versus Protoss, Christmas colors once more here on Cloud Kingdom. Now Titan, after an unsuccessful game 1, has been able to even up the series with a very impressive game 2, that head fake on Antigua Shipyard, where it looked like he was going to be pressuring the third base, and instead did a low ground pylon zealot warp in onto the high ground. Was really effective. With the ability to warp in onto the high ground, the Zealots finished off the Queens, finished off the Spore Crawlers, the Void Rays with their high DPS, able to take down the main layer, and also force a lot of Hydralisks to be trained. It then became a 2-base Protoss versus 2-base Zerg. Titan was able to extend the game long enough to allow his superior tech, his carriers, and eventual mothership be too much. Hyun who has opened up with pretty much gasless openings so far, now changing things up, going for a gas first here on Cloud Kingdom. We'll see if that early metabolic boost does make the difference, and we'll see whether or not Hyun will be able to apply enough early pressure to perhaps force Titan to GG. A lot of the games as of late in Zerg versus Protoss are either very, very hard economic games where both players just macro up as much as possible, or almost an all-in type strategy. When you see an all-in type strategy, you have to be very careful. You cannot say, oh, you know what, I'm going to take another expansion and try to pull ahead even further, as a very large army could be knocking on your front door. Titan, so far getting gas now, about to get up to 100 gas, may get that metabolic boost in just a moment as soon as the spawning pool will be completed, and we'll see if he keeps drones on gas. If he does, we should perhaps see a tech change into Banelings, as Banelings have been effective at destroying fast expanding Protosses in many situations. Low ground pylon here will be able to completely watch this front door, and one of the benefits of Cloud Kingdom for Zerg players is the fact that they can hide overlords pretty much in plain sight and see whenever a Protoss army tries to move out. We are going into a relatively early assimilator for Titan. Titan normally didn't get that assimilator well before, until he had a forge and perhaps even a cybernetics core down. As Titan now warps this in, we'll see how successful it's going to be. I believe he can warp in a cybernetics core right off here, and if he does that, the zealot here should be enough to hold off against any attack. We are going into a Baneling's nest, and Hyun has not established up a natural expansion yet, so this could be a one-base push coming in from the Zerg to try and stop this fast expanding Protoss. What it's really going to come down to is how effective Titan's wall is going to be. Zerg units in general, if they are able to attack their target, if all of them are able to attack their target, are able to deal a lot of damage. One photon cannon being added here, but is it going to be enough for what will most likely be a whole bunch of Banelings on the front door? We now see 5 Banelings warping in, or not warping in, morphing into plane. These Baneling cocoons look to deal a lot of damage. The Zealots may get taken out pretty easily, and now, just completely shutting down the front door, but a quick warp in on a Nexus, beautifully done, and now trying to warp in another pylon. Zerglings are going to try to run rabbit inside the base. Is it going to be a successful? Another pylon, double pylon now being established, making sure that no more Zerglings are able to reinforce, as now the probes are getting taken down a little bit. So one Baneling cocoon looks like it will get destroyed off in the corner before it is done, and now we see that the Zerglings are trying to take down this last photon cannon. The probe trying to join it on the fight, warps in another pylon as well. The probe helping and trying to get some damage, and it looks like the photon cannon at 10 hit points will survive. That photon cannon will still deal 25 or 20 damage per attack, two-shotting those Zerglings and those Banelings as they get in. Hyun now getting in another 7 Banelings, but will they be able to take down this double pylon, double photon cannon front door? Hyun is behind, and this is pretty much all in coming in from the Zerg. 14 drones compared to 28 probes. Level 1 weapons upgrade. Titan still thinking about the long game here, and is it going to be successful, as the Banelings have to be very careful. There is one sentry here, and a beautiful force field preventing the banelings from hitting the second pylon here and getting their way inside the base. A second sentry has arrived to reinforce the first, and with this, all those banelings did was take down one pylon and deal a whole bunch of damage to the shields of the forge. This is not looking good as more sentries are being added here to the front door. The pylons are reinforcing each other. Zerglings now looking to perhaps take down the destructible rocks, allowing those Zerg units to get across the map faster and perhaps just continue to funnel in more units. Hyun is trying to train up more drones now, getting up to 19 drones, but he is still very far behind compared to 36 probes. And is it going to be enough is the question. We are getting additional gateways here, so even if this pylon goes down, this one photon cannon at full hit points is still going to be the weakest link. So we'll see what's going to be happening next, as there are sentries lying in wait, ready to make a force field here and prevent the banelings from finding their target. Hyun now sitting at 41 supply. He looks like he will be supply blocked for a little bit of time. He will be finishing up a hatchery though, and we'll see whether or not he gets into more overlords. Yes, he is doing exactly that. Titan, on the other hand, utilizing the fact that he has the time to warp in more gateways, and doing so in order to warp in more units. So far, he has pretty much only used these sentries, or one gateway, I believe, back at home to train up all of these sentries, and these have been trained the old-fashioned way, not without that warp gate tech. Sentries now making their way out. The photon cannon, one low hit point photon cannon with maximum shields. We'll see where that will go next, as we are going into a robotics facility, and this overlord sees everything that is happening on the front door. 62 supply compared to 51. Harvester count 44 compared to 36. Armies are fairly even in terms of mineral, but Titan with a much larger gas army, meaning that these sentries with their maximum energy may be able to fight back and deal a lot more damage if they're able to corral all of these Zerglings, or perhaps trap the banelings from escaping. We can now see perhaps the Zerglings trying to make their way in. The sentries and the zealots opting to already move all the way back. It looks as though one observer may make his way down and perhaps finally destroy this overlord. The overlord in a very good position, making sure that the sentries are not going to be able to constantly attack it, as we do see one observer now finally spot this overlord here. The overlord taking a lot of damage. I do believe that the stalker should be able to finish it off. No, the overlord pulling away just ever so barely, and now the units need to come back all the way on the far side, but we still see the Zerglings dancing here. One very, very smart zealot positioning himself in between two mineral patches, minimizing the surface area to make sure that the Zerglings cannot get us around. Hyun should finally end up losing this overlord here in just a second, as the observer has been keeping track of him throughout much of the game. Harvester count 55 drones compared to 44 probes now, so Hyun does have the larger economy, but Titan is looking to take this time and strike while the iron is hot. He believes he has the larger army, and he does, by about triple the size with minerals. There are a lot of spine crawlers on the front door though, so is it gonna be enough? Blink, I'm curious enough, is also being researched as well, so and the stalkers could try to put pressure on the front door, or perhaps even the main base if there's an observer off here, and it looks like an observer is making its way over. Is it going to be enough? Zerglings now trying to run around here. We are getting a new gateway on the front door. No Zerglings will be able to run by. One poor zealot going to run straight into a lot of spine crawlers there. There is one proxy pylon already set up. Where are all of these stalkers going to go, and are we going to be getting more stalkers? Yes, we are. It looks as though there is plenty of resources to warp in more stalkers. Level 3 weapons upgrade now being started, so zealots may try to attack the front door, and if the stalkers try to attack the back, there is not going to be enough Zerg units to really defend here, as Hyun does have 7 spine crawlers. Attacking the front door would pretty much be suicidal at this point, but the stalkers, and 16 of them, if they're able to smart blink up, yes, they are doing exactly that, smart blinking up onto the high ground, and the stalkers are just completely destroying the main base. A queen quickly goes down. Zerglings now being brought over, and we'll see what's going to be happening next, as the stalkers are being very smart, blinking back to the low ground, only taking shield damage so far. Spine crawlers have lifted, or have uprooted, and now moved off to the main base, only to see now zealots, stalkers, and sentries attacking at the front door. force field on the ramp. Some of those units will get stuck down on over there. Will the Stalkers just be able to blink back here? And another force field could be coming in as well to try to make sure that no more units do come down. Hyun is in a bit of trouble. He's going to lose a lot of drones here. There is another force field. And there's the GG. Well played by Hyun. Titan taking game 3 and taking the lead after losing game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 3 in the series. Please stay tuned for game 4.